Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Christina Nelson Show. Real people who motivate, inspire, and heal, and tonight is no different. We have a special guest. Her name is TYRA SYMPKINS. She is a founder of Miss Y.A.N.A, and you will find out in 1 minute what exactly that means and why. And she is an author. She has an excellent children's book out. I love it. And so we are going to start that in a few moments. But first, everyone knows that March is MS Awareness Month. Multiple sclerosis is a chronic, typically progressive disease involving damage to the sheaths of nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord, whose symptoms may include numbness, impairment of speech, and of muscular coordination, blurred vision, and severe fatigue. MS occurs when the immune system attacks nerve fibers and myelin sheathing, a fatty substance which surrounds, insulates healthy nerve fibers in the brain and spinal cord. And we know we're not glorifying MS by any means, but we are here to say that God has got us. And in spite of everything that's going on, we still have a purpose in this world. Amen. And so without further ado, I am going to introduce my next guest. Here we are. Hello, Miss TYRA.
Hi. How are you, Christina?
I'm good. How are you this evening?
Oh, I am great. I'm great. Just finished working. Was able to say hi to the family for a quick second, and then come on down here and spend some time with you and your followers.
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate you saying thank you to being a guest on my show. So introduce yourself to everyone and tell them where you're from, what you do.
I am, again, my name is TYRA SYMPKINS. I live here in Bowie, Maryland. Originally from Baltimore. My husband and I have been married for almost 28 years, and we moved down to the PG County area of Maryland right after we got married. So we've been here for, 28 years, and we have 2 children, 2 daughters, Imani and Elon. Hi guys. And yeah, so that's it. House and kids and home. That was the ideal that I started off with, the setting that I started off with, until I got the best gift that I didn't know that I even wanted, and I call that MS.
Wow.
And you may say, why? Well, when I was diagnosed with MS, it took me by shock, as I'm sure it has everyone. But I only allowed myself 3 days. I count Sunday, but Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. By the time Sunday got here, I was like, okay, the crying is done. We got to figure out what this is. How did I get it? Where did it come from? How could I get rid of it? And so I proceeded to go online and do the research needed to find out all there was about MS. The only thing that I knew going in was Richard Pryor had MS. And I was like, I don't want to end up like that. Yeah. So, yes, exactly. So I went online and found a neurosurgeon. He was a brain neurosurgeon.
Okay.
Up in Annapolis, and went and sat down and talked with him. And he was like, well, yes, I'm sorry, Miss Simpkins, you do have MS. But if my wife was diagnosed with MS, well, he said, you do have MS. And unfortunately, I can't cut it out because I'm a brain surgeon. But if my wife had MS, the doctor down the hall is who I would refer her to. And that was Dr. Larry Blum. And he saw me and he was like, well, Miss Simpkins, I'm sorry, but yes, this is it. But, this is the best time of your life to have MS. And I looked at him like, okay. And we went on a roller coaster ride. And 20 years later, I'm here. I'm able to run around with pre-toddlers, as I like to call them. I've got 3, and the oldest one is 1. So, yeah, God has been good. God has been good.
So take us to that day 20 years ago. Well, what made you want to have to go and see what's going on here? Because everyone has that moment where they're like, I better go get this checked out. What was
right. So I was in the shower, and I went to turn the water down, and this whole arm was just on fire. And I was like, oh my God, I know I don't have the water up that hot. And so I switched this arm into this arm. And I was like, wait, this one feels cold. And I'm in the shower doing like this. Right. And I just kind of shrugged it off. I think I was 32 or so. And so, well, yes, 32. That is exactly 20 years. So I was 32. And about a week later, my hands started going numb. Like they would just get cramped and tired. I felt like my fingers, my middle finger particularly, was always white. And this was in the dead of summer. It was always white. I couldn't get any feeling to it. And so I said, let me go to the doctor and see what this is. Went to the doctor, and he was, looking at my hands, and I've had carpal tunnel before. So I'm thinking it was that.
Right.
And he was like, well, I don't know. Carpal tunnel is these fingers. You're complaining about these fingers, and you're the right age. I'm thinking maybe MS, but I'm not sure. Why don't you do this? Go and get an MRI done, and I'll look at the results and then let you know. Well, of course, my background before I was diagnosed was in radio broadcasting. I graduated from Morgan State. And at the time I worked in radio, and I had I will never forget this. I had a client who was Kellogg's, and I was the only one on the AM station to get like this major account. And so I'm like running around, everyone else is going for the day. And, I'm waiting around for LA time for people to call me. Had to find a toucan for this live event we were doing. I mean, it was just some crazy stuff. So, of course, I started putting my health on the back burner, as we are known to do. And it was probably another week after that, after the toucan event, the Kellogg's event. I was like, I'm still not feeling great. And I was always tired, right? But of course, I just associated that with driving from Oxon Hill to Baltimore every day, then going to see clients, then coming home to 2 young children. So of course you would be tired. And I finally got around to getting my MRI, and it was confirmed there that, my doctor called me in and he saw, the plaques, and that was it. And so I had my tear fest, my 48-hour tear fest. And then after that, it was like, all right, gloves off.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing? All right. Did you get on any medication? Because for me, I'm going into the 21st year. So for me, there was only like 3 available medications at that time, right? It was the Copaxone, it was the
Beta-Seron,
and the Avonex.
It was like a beta 1B, the intramuscular, and then Beta-Seron.
The muscular one.
Right. So I was on Beta-Seron at first.
Okay.
And we're about the same distance as far as the length of our journey. So you remember you had to pull the medicine up in the syringe and then put it back into the other one and then tap it and then shake it. I was like, I am not a chemist. This is ridiculous right here.
Yeah.
And I will never forget, I had just gotten on a medication, and I hope my sister's watching because I'm gonna tell this story. We went on a church retreat to Ocean City, and I'm sitting over in the corner, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta take this shot. She says, and this is my younger sister, my baby sister, my only sister, rather. So she said, girl, if you don't take that needle and step on his fuzz, you're looking crazy. I was like, okay. And so you had to jab it in your leg, right? So jabbed it in my leg. She said, whew, girl, I couldn't do that. Oh my gosh. I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, she's been my ride right there. And after that, I still wasn't able to really feel quite like my old self. And so I ended up changing medications 3 times. I went from Beta-Seron to Copaxone. Copaxone I was on for about 2 years. But they left horrible bruises on my legs and my arms. And then my symptoms started to worsen. And so that's when Dr. Blum said, about this being like the best time of my life to have MS. I had questioned him, and he said, well, there's this new drug that's coming out. This was like early March, April. And he said, there's a new drug that's coming out in June, July. And I think you would be a good candidate for it, because everything else up until then I was on, and I wasn't being as successful as I could be. And that was TYRA. And I was the first person in the state of Maryland to go on TYRA once they re-released it. Yes. They had some issues early on with TYRA being used to modify the disease, but they weren't using it only for people who had MS. So they were using it for people with cancer, HIV, a whole host of things. So what they found is if you isolate it and only treat MS and only treat it with that one drug, then things are fine. But what they had done prior to July of 2006 was they were using it multiple drugs, on multiple different types of people. And so that's why they had all these hiccups. Well, when I started in July 2006, and I have not been off since. And, I thank God every day that I made the choice to go to Annapolis to see a neurosurgeon who couldn't cut it out, have him take me to Dr. Blum, have Dr. Blum, be so, so forthright, and, he was just so with the times and very, very like progressive. He was like, no, we're going to treat this. You're only 33 or 32 at the time, 33 at the time. We're gonna get this under control, and I'm so thankful that he did.
I think you're one of the only people that I've known to be on TYRA so long without any issues, without the JC virus or anything like that.
Well, and I am JC virus positive.
Oh, okay.
And so I have JC virus, and I am positive. And my titer is on the low end. So if I'm speaking to anyone, and I'm praying that I am, because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Okay.
So we're gonna put the book down for a second. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. Mm-hmm. The medications out now, the majority of them have the potential to cause PML. Okay. Right. Polymultifocal leukoencephalopathy, right? Which in essence is just a brain infection. It's not just a brain infection, but it's a brain infection.
Yeah.
There is a cure for the brain infection. In 20 years ago, there wasn't.
Okay.
So that's one positive. So that if you do get PML, then it's not an immediate death sentence. It's still a very serious situation and serious illness that you need to kind of, once you start to feel these symptoms, you need to go ahead and take care of that. You go into the doctor's office, to the hospital rather, and they'll do platelets and just kind of give you a washout. Yeah. But no, I've known several people who were on TYRA and they got off because the doctor wanted them to come off, not because they were having any adverse effects or it wasn't working any longer. They were told initially you had to be on it for 2 years, no longer than 2 years, and then you have to come off. And then if you were on for 4 years or more, and you could stay on for 4 years if you were JC virus negative. It was just a lot of miscommunication and misunderstandings. I was a Biogen rep at the time, so I was much more well versed then than I am now, because of course I'm no longer doing Biogen IDEC as a patient advocacy rep, but I do advocate for people who have MS on a daily basis. And my one strong advice would be to make sure that you get as much accurate information as possible. Don't have the doctor say to you what medication that they think you should be on. You should really have that conversation with your family, with your loved ones, figure out what kind of lifestyle you want to have, and then you and your doctor make that decision together. Don't ever let someone dictate to you what you should do, because this is your body, your choice. And
that makes perfect sense. And I've never really had a lot of people say that. They're always just take the doctor's word for it. Do this, do that, do that, do this, and kind of shy away, or make people shy away to asking them anything, because they're just like, well, I just won't ask. I'll just do what they said to do. And that can be, it can be dangerous, or you're afraid to, because you just simply don't know how to advocate for yourself.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And so that's actually a good segue to Y.A.N.A. So Y.A.N.A stands for multiple sclerosis. You are not alone. Mm-hmm. This was an organization that I started when I couldn't find anyone who looked like me, who could help me understand what this thing is that I have that you guys said Black people not supposed to get. Okay. And so I was like, now I have it. So what's that? What's that mean? That I know I'm Black. I'm 100%. And so we got to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
And so I got with a friend of mine, and she was actually she was at the infusion center the same time as I was, and she said, "Wait, you have MS?" I was like, "Yeah, I have MS." She was like, "I have MS too." Oh my gosh, another Black person. And so I said, "Okay, I know if I cannot be the only person that is having this thought of, am I the only one that is Black that has MS?" And so I said, you know what? I was sitting at the dining room table, and I was having one of those moments, because quiet as is kept, I do still have those moments. But I was having one of those moments, and I, was just kind of pondering, like, what was my children's future going to look like, and will I be able to walk down the aisle with them when they got married, and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I heard, just as clearly as I can hear you, a voice that said, "You are not alone." So much so that I like jumped, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I have MS, but I'm not alone. Okay, got it. God, you said you're going to help me with this? Bet. All right. So what we're going to do?" So started a group, and I went to one of the MS functions. They had different functions for newly diagnosed people, and I went there and I met Marissa Best. Hi, Marissa. Oh shoot, I should have did that. And I got to shout out all my girls. Well, hi guys, y'all know I'm open up that can of worms, but so I could not do Miss Y.A.N.A without my leaders, and that is true. We have been through a lot together. We have everybody's gone through COVID, but we have managed to still have our meetings, albeit online and virtual, ever since, because we just didn't want anyone to feel like they were isolated and alone. And it's such a tough thing that we've all been through these past almost 3 years now. But I want to make sure that with whatever power I have left, and energy and stamina and bandwidth and all that good stuff, that I make sure that I have a piece that's always carved out for people who have MS.
That's wonderful. I love that. I love that people have, their story as to why they started their groups, because there's a lot of people who have groups around here. But what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing? Are you helping someone? Are you comforting people? Are you making people aware that, God is with them? And, unashamedly, are you making sure people understand that this is not the end all be all? My husband and I were on a health wellness via Zoom this morning. And that's the one thing she asked was, I'm going to ask you the same question. What would you tell someone who is newly diagnosed? How would you encourage someone who is newly diagnosed?
Interesting that you ask, because as I'm going through my emails today looking for your link, there was a young lady who had reached out, and she was been diagnosed maybe a year or so, and she said that she was looking for a support group. And so of course I didn't have a chance to call her today, but I sent her an email saying that I would follow up with her in the morning.
Right.
But the first thing that I do is I ask, what is it that you're looking for in a group of individuals? Okay. Because we're a support group, but only in form, because my belief is everybody don't want to be supported, but everyone can be empowered.
You're so right.
We call ourselves an empowerment group because of that reason. I mean, I've been doing coming up on, in February of 23 will be Miss Y.A.N.A's 20th anniversary. So we're going to have a big blowout. But during that time, we have been to health fairs and community events. We've been featured in newspapers. I was on WebMD. They did a video for people who had MS, and just what does a day in the life of someone with MS look like. Radio and TV stations interviewed, terrestrial and satellite. And so it's important for me, because I know that there's this following out there where you say our name, Miss Y.A.N.A, that, oh yeah, I've heard of them, I've seen them or whatever. So I always ask, well, what is it that you're looking for? Are you looking for someone to hold your hand and kind of walk you through this MS journey?
Right.
Are you looking for someone to give you a kick in the butt and say, hey, why are you crying? What you crying for? Stop crying. Not to say that you can't have your sad moments, because like I said, I have mine too. But the notion of giving the enemy any more credence and and wallowing is just a lot of negative wasted energy that, quite frankly, we don't have time for, because we got work to do.
Mm-hmm.
So but based on their answers, because like I said, I mean, without my leaders, I wouldn't have a group, but without my members, I wouldn't have a group either. And so because of that, we are very much hand in hand. And my questions would kind of be led on based on the answers that I get back from the person that I'm speaking with. And so if they say, well, no, I just feel like, I have MS, but I feel fine. I don't have anything. And, nothing's wrong with me. I'm still able to move. I just want to be able to be around people who look like me. And I maybe want to, give back some of my time. Perfect. Or if they're the opposite and they say, oh my gosh, it's just everything hurts. And I don't know what to do. I can have so much medicine. That's fine too, because we'll be able to help them either way.
Yeah.
The latter, those that need much more hand holding, we do an in-home, in-person consultation. It's a private one-on-one consultation that we do free of charge. And we would ask the new potential member to get their loved ones, family members, friends, get them all together, and we're going to have a meeting with them. And it's called Y.A.N.A one-on-one. I'm sorry, Y.A.N.A on the move, but it's a one-on-one consultation. Anything that you want to know about MS, that's the time to ask. And it's usually myself and a leader or two, or maybe if there's a member that's available. We did it on the move, and it was a man that I was speaking with, so I got some of my male members to come, because as much as I don't know what it's like to be a man. So I like to let talk with like.
Absolutely.
And that has been one of the most well-received of all of the different programs that we have. That's been the one that's the most well-received, because, you have all of these questions, everything from why am I so tired to why can't I remember things to why is my foot still asleep? All of those questions. And you want to be able to talk with someone who could answer. So, a lot of times during our empowerment meeting, it's only about an hour online. It was 2.5 hours in person, but you don't have a time to really get all of that out. So, we want to be there for both. So for the people who need more hand holding, I will meet you at your convenience, and we'll work some things out. Those of you who are ready to hit the ground running, good. I got some stuff that I need you to do. And that's it.
I love it. That is excellent. I think everyone needs to have that, where some family members can go and talk to you or talk to someone. Because like you said, we have people who say Black people aren't supposed to get MS. Black women aren't supposed to get MS. What are you talking about? I've seen it in some of the groups I'm in. I've seen people say things like, my family doesn't believe me. My spouse doesn't believe me.
Oh, yes.
Like, because you're Black and you're not supposed to. Like, what the insanity? They said the same thing about COVID, COVID.
Oh, right. And the number of relationships that I've seen both strengthen and fall because of MS, it's almost like 50-50 now, but I mean, you and your husband, a prime example. And I talk about you guys frequently whenever I'm positioning myself to make analogies. But it really does have to do with where you are in your thought process of MS, dealing with MS. The stages of grief, you really have to process that. everyone processes differently. For me, my stages of grief, they weren't that deep. They didn't run that deep. I because I've always been like a problem solver. Like, what are we gonna do with this? Right. So that kind of fueled me more than anything. And even when I get tired, and Lord knows I get tired, but even when I get tired and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this. But God will say, I didn't give you the ability to just sit down and quit. So get up and go, because somebody's going to be there and they're going to need to hear from you. And inevitably, whether we're in person or online, it'll be one person. If only one person shows up, but it'll be one person that would say, oh gosh, I needed that. I needed that. So that's what keeps me going.
I love that. That sometimes we need that. And I think God does it on purpose, even if it's just that one person that might, sometimes I might do an interview and I might be like, oh man, did that work out good? Was that a good interview? And someone will inbox me and say, that was really good. Like, I really enjoyed it. I'm like, okay. And it lets you keep going, right? Where you don't give up and just say, Lord, I'm just not going to do this no more. I only had one guest or, whatever.
I mean, honestly,
showed up. So.
Yeah, I really do believe that, because, I mean, if left to our own devices, we're only human. Would not be somewhere watching Star Trek Discovery with my feet up. I would just, there's just the no matter how much you want to help, the physical you just kind of gets exhausted. And there's one thing that is kind of like, it's understood, but not a lot of people talk about it. The amount of people who have MS who also have an underlying issue of depression and anxiety.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes. Think about it. You can't have all of this stuff going on in your brain and in your nerves and have your emotional components not be affected. And so I oftentimes say, listen, there's a reason why you're crying. Yeah, you're upset that you can't wear heels. And yeah, you're upset that, you got to use a rollator. And yeah, but there's also something else that you need to take a closer look at. And then, you may want to go and have a talk with a therapist. Go if you find that you're crying at cereal commercials and, all of that, you may need to be on some medication. And, I'm also here to say, we are eliminating that stigma, because mental health is a serious issue that I believe is only going to get worse because of the pandemic. You've got all these people who have been isolated and alone. They got to go back out here in the world. Poor babies been walking around with masks. You think people only exist from the eyes up, right? So now you're telling them, oh yeah, it's fine, take your mask off and go back to school. What? Yeah. So it's a lot of emotional and mental healing that really do go hand in hand. And so as we are continuing to put our own, want the best for ourselves, we need to consider the mental aspects as well.
I agree. What would you say to a person who totally lost my train of thought? Oh well, forgive me, y'all. Hey, yes, but you're the guest that would understand why I just did that.
Right, like how I was here a whole hour early, sitting here, like, right, yeah. And you know what? What's funny about that? Not everyone would get that. Everyone wouldn't get it. Right. And so to have a support system too that's around you, because my family will just say, Mommy, go sit down. Just go sit down somewhere. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. Because they'll know that I'm tired before I know that I'm tired.
Right.
It's one of those things where you really, it's like, being with a great, a great person, your loved ones, where you don't even have to say a word. They just know. That's what it's like being with someone who has MS and MS. It's like, oh, yes, I don't have to explain why my leg is numb. I don't have to explain it.
That's how it is with my husband and I. We don't really have to, like, all we have to do is say this, whatever, whatever. And we're like, oh, okay. Like, we both have this thing where, our hand gets cold or our foot gets cold, really cold. And we're like, I'm freezing cold. We may put a little space heater on. Our family members will walk in and say, it's hot in here. It's hot. And we're like, look.
Right. This is not your house. This is not
we're cold.
You can feel your extremities. Leave us alone.
Leave ours alone. We need to warm our feet and toes up first, okay?
Yes. Well, for vanity's sakes, I took mine off today, but as part of my occupational hazards, I have a splint that I wear on my hands and my back, my lower back. And I've been thinking, pull the muscle or whatever. I bet you it's spasticity. I thought about it like 2 days ago. I was like, oh, backlifting. I need to get on some backlifting. And see, if I hadn't been talking with someone else, it wouldn't have even clicked. It would have just been like, oh yeah, the babies are heavy. That's what's going on. And, so you have to just always stay in tune. And so however that might present itself.
What would you say to someone who does not know how to say no? That's the thought that I had prior to. Someone who doesn't know how to say no, or they feel guilty. They feel guilty about saying, no, I can't right now. I'm tired. No, I can't right now. I've been doing something all day long. I can't. How will you encourage someone that no is a complete sentence?
Yes, exactly. Well, I would have to take my own medicine, right? Okay. And what I started doing was I would have an on day and an off day. Mm-hmm. So on the days that I'm on. I'm making calls. I'm sending out emails. I'm putting out fires. I'm doing interviews.
Right.
That's my on day. My off days, just like this. Don't, Yep. I'll see you on my next on day is Wednesday. You just have to, because no one. I tell my husband works for the government. That government will be there whether you're there or not. When you come in, that work is done. Like, put things into compartments, right? And because then if you keep going and going and going, you're not going to be any good to anyone, less yourself, right?
Right.
So it is important, vitally so, to compartmentalize, if not your entire day, right? Like some people will do, okay, morning is only for morning. I'm only doing Miss Y.A.N.A. Afternoon, I'm only doing nanny tea stuff. Okay. But my things would just kind of run into each other. So I just started doing days. Like, no, I'm not doing anything on this day except Miss Y.A.N.A. Or I'm not. Or the other thing that I had to learn to do, delegate.
That's a good word there.
Yeah, delegate. Yep. Delegate. And if you don't say no, your body will sit you down for you.
It will. And it has. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be it. Compartmentalize, choose your days. You can't do it all at once, and take care of yourself before you be forced to take care of yourself.
Right. That's what this young woman said. Ugandi just said, most of the time it's hard for me to say no. Ugandi girl, you better say no.
Yes. Or Ugandi, start like this. Not yet. I have some other things that's a little more pressing right now, and you don't have to disclose what that is, because the most pressing thing could be your very health, right? Oh, come on, I need you to go to the store with me. Oh, girl, I could, but I got another engagement, and your other engagement is the remote. Sit down and have some you time, and just take it a little, a step at a time. Don't try to overbook yourself.
You're very right. I like this. And Vanessa says, I am good with saying no with a smile.
There you go. And yes, and mean it, right?
Yes, absolutely mean it. Yes. Yes.
Good
Someone
stuff.
on Facebook said, well, no means no, and leave me the heck alone. They didn't.
Yes, yes. Now you do have people who will not hear that though, and so it's incumbent upon you to make sure, because some people can say no. I don't have a problem saying no.
Yeah.
I take that back.
Okay.
I don't like to let anyone down. Now I will say no, but it is, there's normally like a not yet, or maybe later, because I don't want to disappoint anyone, especially, oh my gosh, if it's a kid. Oh, I'll be like, come here. All right, what you need? What you need? Yeah, because I don't like to disappoint kids. Because I feel like they're the most innocent. They didn't ask to be here. And so it is up to us to make their experience on this earth as pleasant and as meaningful and as enriched as possible. So, shall we segue again?
Well, I'm going to say that's actually a good segue into Nanny T. That's my Nanny T. Guys, Ty Simpkins is an author, and she wrote this adorable children's book, and it's called That's My Nanny T.
Yes, and it was taken from actual excerpts. So I'm gonna read like a couple of it's a children's book, guys. So it's only like 8 pages. But it's very special to me because I wrote this while I had MS. And I wrote this while caring for, I started this process at the beginning of the pandemic. Well, what we now know is the pandemic. I started this process before we even knew what was going on. And so it just went to hardback. So we've got 2 different edits. We've got the softback and we've got the hardback. So we just got the hardback. It's available Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all your local bookstores, or your favorite bookstores. Give me a minute with the locals. I'm getting it. I'm gonna make it. But I started this because one of my first baby would always, just TT this and TT that, and so my girlfriend Marissa actually called me. She said, "Okay, you over there, Nanny T, and what you doing, Nanny T?" And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." And so it just stuck. It just stuck. So basically, what this book is, it's a children's book, but it's also more for the parents. So it's because it's a guide for parents to be able to use this as a transition from when you're looking for a new caregiver. That's often such a hard time for parents, to leave their babies. The kids don't know what's going on. And so, they get kind of like a little freaked out. So I'm only going to read just a few pages because I don't want to give away the ending. But basically, who is singing that silly song to me? That doesn't sound like Daddy. And then you have the little girl just looking so quizzically. No, that's not Daddy. That's my Nanny T.
Oh, so that's adorable.
So it's just, a couple questions and then answers. And then towards the end, it says, my Nanny T is funny, kind, and sweet. And my Nanny T makes yummy food to eat. So once she establishes who she is, then it takes you on a journey of their typical day. And then she says, I'm not here for long, but I'll see you around. So then, as a caregiver, you begin to establish a rapport with the parent as well as the little one, right? Because if you don't make nice with them, they make your life something crazy. So, so I establish that up front. Whenever I meet someone, hi, Mom, hi, Dad. Hi, how's my friend? And I will get down on the ground and talk with them so they understand that I'm here for you as well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Do you plan on writing a lot more books, or?
Yes, this is the first. This is the first of 3 in the series. That's my nanny. This one is That's My Nanny Tea. There's What's That Sound Nanny Tea, which teaches the children about environmental sounds. So things like we take for granted, but like a lawnmower. Have you ever tried to explain to a 2-year-old what a lawnmower is?
Right.
Or what is lightning? Explain that to a 4-year-old and not have your eyes rolling up in your head and you on Google. What is lightning? I don't know. It's just something. No. So that's going to be What's That Sound? And then What's That Taste? Nanny Tea. So I like to do everything with fun and enrichment to give them real world view experiences, because they're children, but they're just little people. Mm-hmm. They're just little people. You should see the 3 that I have now. Hi guys. They're amazing. They're amazing. And all 3 of them are crawling at the same time. So it's like, well, wait, hold on, wait, get off of that. No, put that down. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But every day that I'm able to do it, I'm thankful to God, because I remember when I used to walk with a cane. And I remember when I, could not run up and down the stairs. I remember, being in a hospital in Aruba and, being stranded because we had to cancel our return flight because I had an episode. I had a relapse. So, yes, I do not take it for granted at all. And I encourage your viewers to also do the same. Find something that you love. I gave you this advice, right, Christina?
Yes, you did.
Find something that you love to do. It can be gardening. It could be painting your own nails. But find something that you love to do so that MS doesn't rob you of it. Okay.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, that's very, very good sound advice, especially even for somebody who's new or don't know, or for somebody who's had it 20 something years or 30 something years, like find something that you love to do, because sometimes we get lost in it and our life, all we become is MS, and that is not.
Oh, yeah. Right. And that's also one of the reasons why we do like the one-on-one consultations, because, if I have members that have been with us, for 10 years plus. Those people, they know the entire like the routine, how we form our meetings. And so I don't want them to be stagnated either by hearing the same thing over and over and over again, right? They know what new vigil is. They know what gabapentin is and how it works. But someone who's new probably has no idea what those 2 words are that I just mentioned. And so we want to be able to have an opportunity to get everybody the equal footing that they need, because, if I'm here to do what I do for now, but I'm also setting the tone for the next generation. And I think that that's so important as African Americans, that we have to continue to do that. We have to continue to set the legacy. I call all my babies my future leaders. These are all my future leaders, right? These are all the babies that I have. And I said, because of you, I am Nanny T. And it's about just, creating that next step, that, putting the next thing in place so that someone else can pick up the mantle and do a better job than what, you or I have done.
I love it.
You're doing a great job too, Christina. Toot, hon.
Oh, thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. More than welcome.
Thank you. I wanted to read a comment on Facebook by I'll say the comment and then say the person. She says, love it, especially since the caregiver is often forgotten in the MS journey. And that's the truth. And it was our very own Anne-Marie Johnson. And I have to shout her out because she's the one who told me about you. She gave me the suggestion to have you on. She just hit me up. Sorry, my husband over here side eyeing me because I do remember a while ago he mentioned you as it was one of those things where he mentioned you, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then Anne Marie hit me up, and I was like, Anne Marie said that I should have Tyra on my show. And he was like, "I told you
that is so funny. I was going through my contacts, and I was in the A's. I was like, Anne Marie, I'm gonna send her this link. Oh wow, I forget that you guys are all both up in the New York area.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, thank you so much, Anne Marie. Oh, I hope you're doing well. I know you're doing well. Well because that's another one that's fierce.
Oh, absolutely.
Fierce.
Absolutely. She's no joke. We love her.
I'm telling you, the Black girl magic that is able to handle MS, husband, children, work life.
Yes.
Get out that White House and let us get in there and get some stuff done.
That is true. Shout out to all the beautiful women on March because it's also Women's History Month. So
that's right. That's right. Keep on doing
it. Please keep on doing what y'all doing.
Keep on doing it.
Not a woman in here, no matter what you're doing, that can go unspoken, and you're doing great things, and we love you. It doesn't have to be MS, but it has to be anything that you're doing out of the goodness and kindness of your heart is great. And so
absolutely. As I've gotten older, my my stance on sisterhood has only deepened. It's I don't want to get on that soapbox, but it's there's so much that we can do when we pull together. It's amazing. It really is amazing. So yes, everyone just keep on doing what you're doing.
Megan Marie says we love Tyra so much and her entire family.
Oh, hi Maggie. Hi guys. They were now, okay, real quick before we run out of time. You talk about being thrown in the deep end. Okay. So Megan called me, and we met off of a site, an online site. She had 6-month-old twins and a 2.5-year-old. Oh my gosh. I found a video of the oldest one yesterday and was in tears laughing. I mean, just hysterical, but they were my first like, wow. I mean, she would always take Charlie, who's the oldest. She would take him off, and I'd have JJ and Cora, the twins. And I was like, man, if I'm getting up and going here to dinner, bath, and bed with them, and then go home and try to get myself together, and then do Miss Y.A.N.A in the morning, and oh my goodness, I said, oh yeah, this is something right here. So yes, shout out to you guys and all my other little ones. It's been 5 years since I've been 6 years since I've been a full-time nanny, and it is quite a ride.
That seems like a ride. Yeah, I don't know if, like, at this point would I want to be a nanny, because that is a lot of work.
It's not for everybody. I mean, because you'll have a day like today where I had one that would not take a nap, and every time they laid down, they would cry and wake the other two up. And I was just like, okay, so like, oh, do you even understand what's happening right now? Like, you're so tired that all you can do is cry. Like, you ever been that tired? And then and as an adult, you're like, just close your eyes and go to sleep. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I promise you. Your toys will be here when you wake up. But you really, really, really have to love kids, because like, that's why I said they're little people. I mean, I sat and watched one who does not know how to, like, traditionally crawl, but he does like this little army crawl. When I tell you that little one climbed the steps today, he climbed up 3 steps. I looked at it and I was just now, how are you going to get down? And he's looking at me, and then he just started crying. I was like, right, because you have to wait for me to show you how to get down. So yes, it's hilarious, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's a labor of love, and I am
Oh,
happy
absolutely.
to be doing it. I'm happy to
Oh,
be doing
God
it.
bless you. My mother was a daycare teacher for many, many years, or preschool. I'm sorry, preschool teacher for many, many, many years. And so I understand. I've seen her labor of love come home every night.
Right,
Like,
right,
just
right.
girl.
I will say that now I've gotten spoiled, right, because of COVID. You had a lot of people working from home, and so I'm doing care out of my home now.
Okay.
So, at the end of the day, click, click, lights off, go upstairs. I'm in the shower before they're home. I'm just like, but I'm able to do more there. I've been able to, check in on my mom, make sure I'm here for my husband, my kids,
Mm-hmm.
my friends. Every once in a while, if I, happen to take a nap and can, after 5 o'clock, take a nap so I can go out and see my friends, hang out with my
Mm-hmm.
friends, then, we'll do that. But yeah, this is certainly, it's not for the faint at heart.
Not at all, but you are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you so much.
I thank you so much. How can people find you? How can they get in touch with you? I know you have a website. That's website, MissY.net, right?
YA.N.A. And shout out to my amazing, amazing, amazing team. I'm going to be very bold and say their names. Sherlyn, Alicia, Peggy, Brenda, Delisa, Lena, Marissa. That's 8. I think I got everybody. Okay.
Mhm.
Without them, I really would not be able to do this. So if you go on to MissY.N.A, that has all of the information about how to get in touch with us, how to stay up to date with the latest in with MS News, as well as latest events. I know that Sherlyn has different links up there. Also, if I could ask you to put this on the Chiron, if they could text 30500.
Okay.
That is a text feature that we've started using, where you can you'll be able to send me a text and get all of my information directly to their phones. So you can actually just type in my name. You text no, sorry. That MS thing. Type Miss Y.A.N.A and then text it to the 3500, and then all of our information will come up.
That's very different. I like that. You're gonna have to show me about that.
Yes, I'm gonna put you in touch. Lena Extraordinaire is the one who hooked that up. But yes, it's a lifesaver. You don't have to worry about pins and business cards and all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
And then the book is on Amazon.com.
Mhm.
It is also on BarnesandNobles.com. I am, as we speak, putting together something here with the with some of the local bookstores. And once I can carve out some more time in my day without getting into my no days, then we'll be, hitting the road and doing some in-person book tours.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I could come up there and see you and Anne-Marie.
Yes, that would be wonderful. That would be really exciting. Maybe we can do something, go live real quick or something. Shout out.
Yes,
Hey, everybody.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. Charlena, she's going to be on my show in a couple of weeks as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What?
She says now I have to look. I think we set a date for April 5th.
What? Okay, yeah, we got to talk online.
Oh my gosh. She was ready to tell her testimony. And I was like, okay, let's go.
Yes. You are my new favorite bookmark, by the way. So yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I love to hear that. That's a blessing. Thank you.
Absolutely. Because I know the rigors of doing just a meeting. I can't even the whole show deal. Yeah, you and Eric.
Yeah,
you and Eric. Yeah, you guys, great job.
Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Thank you, guys. Wonderful, wonderful. This was a very good conversation. I like to say conversation more than interview because I like to just have a conversation with real people who motivate, inspire, and heal. And I know you've done probably all three today, and I appreciate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are a delight, and I thank you so much. And I pray nothing but so much more success with this Nanny T series. I can't wait to see the other books. I can't wait. I cannot.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. I really do. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Yes.
Night, night, everyone.
Everyone, have a wonderful, blessed night. Next week, I'm interviewing none other than my husband, and he's going to tell his journey. So tune in next week for Pastor Eric's journey. And and then it's almost over. Gosh. March is almost over. But the journey is still ongoing, and we will still continue to speak life, and we will still continue to encourage people in this whole thing. So, all righty, everyone, God bless you. Have a wonderful night.